Why is memory so unreliable? You remember your 10th birthday, the cake, the candles, the faces of friends. But how accurate is this memory? Research suggests it is probably distorted, perhaps significantly. Memories are not recordings, they are reconstructions, rebuilt each time from fragments and inferences. Every recall is an act of creation, susceptible to suggestion, emotion, and time. We base our identity on memories, our legal system on eyewitness testimony, our relationships on shared recollections. Yet memory is fundamentally unreliable. This is unsettling but also illuminating. It reveals that the self is not a fixed record but an ongoing narrative, constantly revised, always partly fiction. Welcome back to The Conscious Observer. Today we explore the strange, malleable nature of memory. Memory is not a single system, but many. Sensory memory holds impressions for fractions of a second. Short-term or working memory maintains information for seconds to minutes, enough to dial a phone number. Long-term memory stores information for years or a lifetime. Within long-term memory, declarative memory records facts and events, while procedural memory encodes skills and habits. Episodic memory recalls specific experiences. Semantic memory stores general knowledge. Each system involves different brain structures and processes. Memory is distributed, networked, and dynamic, not a filing cabinet but a shifting web of association. For a memory to form, it must be encoded, transformed from experience into neural pattern. Attention is crucial. Unattended events are not encoded. Emotion enhances encoding. Intense experiences are remembered better. The hippocampus is central, binding elements of an experience into a coherent memory. But encoding is selective. You do not record everything. You capture highlights, shaped by what you expected, what you noticed, what felt significant. From the start, memory is interpretive, not photographic. The original experience is already filtered. Once encoded, memories are stored, but not like files on a hard drive. Memories are distributed across neurons and synapses, patterns of connection rather than static records. Over time, memories consolidate, transferring from hippocampus to cortex, becoming more stable but also more schematic. Details fade, gist remains. Storage is also dynamic. Stored memories can be altered by new experiences, by reinterpretation, by the act of recall itself. A memory in storage is not inert, it is a pattern that can be reshaped. Retrieval is reconstruction. When you remember, you do not play back a recording, you rebuild the experience from stored elements, filling gaps with inference and expectation. This reconstruction is influenced by your current state, your current beliefs, the context of recall. Leading questions can alter what you remember. Suggestions can implant false details. Repeated retrieval can strengthen some elements and lose others. The memory you retrieve is not the memory you encoded. It is a new creation, based on the old but transformed by every act of recall. Memories can be entirely false. Elizabeth Loftus's research demonstrated that vivid, detailed memories can be implanted through suggestion. Subjects remember events that never happened, being lost in a mall as a child, witnessing a crime that did not occur. These false memories feel as real as true ones. The brain does not tag memories as true or false. It cannot distinguish reliable recall from confabulation. This has legal implications. Eyewitness testimony, once considered highly reliable, is now known to be fallible. Innocent people have been convicted based on sincere but false memories. We construct identity from memory. You are who you remember being. Your life story, your relationships, your sense of self all depend on recollections. But if memory is unreliable, what does this mean for identity? The self you believe in might be partly fiction, built on memories that are distorted, incomplete, or false. Some find this troubling, others liberating. If the past is not fixed, neither are you. You can reinterpret, revise, and release. Memory's malleability means identity is fluid, a story you tell rather than a fact you discover. Memory loss reveals memory's importance. Amnesia, the inability to form new memories or retrieve old ones, is devastating. Patients like HM, who could not form new long-term memories after brain surgery, live in an eternal present, meeting the same people as strangers each day. Alzheimer's disease erodes memory gradually, taking identity with it. Those who lose memory lose the thread of their lives, becoming strangers to themselves and loved ones. Memory is not a luxury, it is the fabric of a continuous self. Why did evolution design memory to be reconstructive rather than accurate? Probably because the point of memory is not to preserve the past, but to guide the future. A perfectly accurate record would be unwieldy, irrelevant, cluttered with detail. What matters is extracting lessons that apply to new situations. Memory adapts the past to present needs, updating what you learned in light of what you now know. This makes memory useful but inaccurate. It is a feature, not a bug, optimized for function rather than fidelity. Why is memory so unreliable? Because memory is not a recording but a reconstruction, not a file but a pattern, not a playback but a creation. Every recall reshapes what is recalled. Every memory is partly fiction. This might seem alarming, but it is also human. You are not a passive repository of experience, you are an active storyteller, weaving the past into meaning. Memory's malleability allows growth, healing, and change. The past is not a prison, it is a resource shaped by how you use it. In our final episode of this season, we explore imagination and what it reveals about consciousness. Until then, remember, what you remember is what you have made of what happened. Keep observe it.